Quite the collection of boxing minds here. Myself, Adi Oladipo, alongside Hall of Fame promoter Frank Warren, two-weight world champion Carl Frampton. Gents, I wanted to have a really deep discussion about the heavyweight division at the moment. So many big fights coming up. Look at the movement. I like it. As soon as I say heavyweight division, everyone kind of moves in their seat. So many big fights coming up on the zone that you're putting on, Frank, with Queensberry Promotions. Let's start with the one coming up first, March 28th, Moses Itauma versus Jermaine Franklin. Moses has grown now over the last 2 years into already a superstar. I think he's now well known. Obviously, the aim is for him to become a heavyweight world champion. I guess it starts now properly, March 28th.
It does. I mean, this is a big test for him. He's in with a guy in Franklin who's never been stopped. Yeah. I think he's had 27 fights, lost 2. And those 2 losses, I think, were around 4 years ago. One, which is a debatable decision against Dillian Whyte, and the other one was against AJ. Yeah. AJ was on a run of form then, and he's a big puncher, and he couldn't put him away. So this is a big step up for him, in my opinion. And you look at him; it'll be his 14th fight, and if you look at his record and the guys he's been in with, I can't think of many fighters, especially at his age, heavyweights who fought at that level.
Yeah, there are some names on there as well, isn't there, Carl? I mean,
there is.
Yeah, Dempsey McKean on there, Dillian Whyte on there, Marius Vac, who's almost like that tough big guy you've got to go through. We just want to see rounds, isn't it?
Well, I was going to ask you, Frank. That's the objective for this fight, and why you want rounds for Moses, but it's going to be difficult. No,
yeah. I don't. I mean, honestly, I of course, in your mind, you want to be satisfied. He's got a good engine and so forth. But if he can get rid of him, get rid of him.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree.
I'm really, and people who are buying tickets are not buying tickets to see him do rounds. They're buying tickets for him to go in there and do the business and look good doing it. And if he's fighting guys, durable fighters, tough fighters, very experienced fighters, and he like he did in his last fight, he does produces like he did against Dillian, then, I mean, they love it. They love it. And for me, I never expected that against Dillian. Never expected that at all. And this one, I think is going to be tougher for him. But he's, I think he's a type of fighter. I hope he's a type of fighter, and it happens to all fighters, especially guys who knock people out. There's a day they won't knock somebody out. I can't think of any fighter who didn't happen. I remember Nigel Benn, when he came with me, I think he had about 12 knockouts on the trot. And then someone stayed with him. But a good fighter, you believe that they've got boxing IQ and ability to find plan B or plan C. And I think Moses I think he's quite boxing savvy.
If he does do to Jermaine Franklin like he did to Dillian Whyte, like he did to Balogun in Scotland, where he just puts him out like that, considering what Jermaine has done to Dillian Whyte and to Anthony Joshua, I mean, the noise is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Huge statement. It's a huge statement. But I agree with what Frank was saying there. People talk about getting rounds, and he needs rounds. Ideally, you probably wouldn't mind him seeing round 8 or 10 or something like that, just to see what his engine's like. But you can find out what his engine's like in the gym with sparring partners. If you can get rid of these guys and blow them away in spectacular fashion, which he has been doing, the hype just grows all the time. And that's what people want to see with heavyweight fighters. They don't want to see long fights. They want to see quick blowouts, and they want to see blood and guts. That's what they want to see.
They want to see Mike Tyson-esque fights. You think Mike Tyson was massive box office, and it was massive box office because of what he'd done when the first bell went.
That's a perfect segue, that is, Frank, because you mentioned blood and guts. We're going to see that April 4th. We're going to see blood and guts, 2 warriors of the sport, right? 2 of the old guard. We mentioned Moses, who's coming to the beginning. This is coming to the end, and Derek Chisora and Deontay Wilder, April 4th. I filmed the promo. It's a really good one as well. An Icon will fall. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's all right.
It's all right, thank you. But this is it, though, isn't it? I mean, Chisora has told us this will be his final fight. Whether or not that is true, I'm not quite sure. Wilder wants to continue. But it's a really good matchup between 2 veterans that they're gonna give it their all.
Well, we always say, one will win and one's got nowhere to go when you get these type of fights. But the fact is, that's how it will be. you know, one of them will be the end of their career, because I can't see where they're going to go, and it'll be one last dance for the winner, because they're at that age now. We're both in their 40s, and you know, I think it'll be exciting. I think it will be an exciting fight, but I think it'll be an exciting fight because they won't be able to get out of the way of each other.
Yeah.
You know, because you know yourself, Carl, as a boxer gets older, you know, especially as you start hitting like, you know, late 30s and 40s, you know, you're not as fast as you are on your feet. You know, your instincts are not like they were. So you use your ring savvy, and that was what I think will happen in this fight. I think the bell will go. They'll both come at each other, and it will be literally a shootout between them. And I just feel that I can't pick the winner at the moment, because I just think whoever's going to land one and hurt whoever throws the first hurtful punch, I think will prevail.
Yeah, I think they're at the similar stage of both of them are at the same stage of their careers, that they're at the end. But because of that, and because of the stuff that Frank was saying, that they're maybe not as good as they once were, makes it a good fight, because they're going to be in front of each other. They're not going to find it difficult to find each other. We know what big Deontay, I mean, people talked about him potentially being the hardest punching heavyweight that's ever lived. That's always the last thing that leaves a fighter, a punch. But what Deontay Wilder needs to land that punch is leverage, and he needs distance. And Derek swarms you, and he doesn't give you that space. So I'm excited about the fight. I'm excited about the build-up as well. I'm excited about fight week, because they're two big characters. And I like the fight.
We haven't ever really seen anything like Chisora, have we, before? I mean, a guy that's got double-digit defeats. Like normally, you cast it out. Fans stop buying tickets for you. For some reason, he's been able to kind of still be that guy where everyone is invested in him. You know this, Carl. You know this as well, Frank. I mean, how many fighters have you had where you lose a couple and that's kind of it? They're not really that person anymore. Chisora's been able to go from Del Boy to War Chisora. He must be just a promotional dream, because he knows how to continually sell fights.
Well, I mean, he has come back, but I think he's become like a 20-year overnight success. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't like that early days.
No.
You know, I mean, he was with me early from day one, and but he has now, and what is being, you know, quite surprising, and I don't mean that in a good way, is how well received he is by the fans. You know, he gets a big cheer when he's in the ring now, or you know, or at a fight, they give him a big cheer, and he have most of the people behind him. But as I say, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when they let their punches go. The other thing I think as well with big punchers, you know, you see guys have a big run, you know, run of knockouts. And then when one of them, and sometimes when one of them gets clipped, you know, the puncher gets clipped, he then becomes a little bit worried about letting those big shots go, because again, he knows better than me. He's been in there and done it. When you're letting big shots go, that's when you're most vulnerable. When you're throwing that big right hand, your chin's exposed, and it makes them, sometimes they think up it. And I think that's what happened with Deontay, with Tyson. Certainly in that second fight, and I think then the third fight, he just gritted his teeth, and they had a brilliant live fight. And I think that's what's going to happen with this one. I just really do think, you know, this is going to be one of these where you know, it's going to, I hate to say it, but it's going to be a brutal fight.
Yeah, it will be. All right, this is good. So we've done Moses at the start. We've done Chisora and Wilder at the end. These two next guys, I think, are in the middle, hoping to kind of get to that top table. I'm talking about Lawrence Okolie versus Tony Yoka in France. We're going international. We were international for Kabayel, by the way, which is one of the best fight cards in terms of noise and volume I've ever experienced. And I did an interview post-fight with Yoka and Okolie. I almost feel like I should get some sort of royalties for this, because I set this one up. Was you there?
Aye, I
You
want
weren't
royalties
I didn't
as
see
well.
you in the video. But we get these guys going at it in France. Tony Yoka, who I think's almost had this renaissance under Don Charles. Okolie seems to be calling out everyone, and you've matched them together.
Look, it's a good fight. Tony, through Don, I mean, Don's a friend as well as a trainer. Don, you know, Tony went to Don, and Don, we spoke, and he brought, he came along, and we sat down, and we were, you know, thought, yeah, we can do something. He's a good fighter, and I think he lost his way a bit I don't think he was being promoted that well. So, you know, it's up to us now to do something with him. And we promised him that we would put a show on in Paris. He's a big name. He's an Olympic gold medalist.
Champion.
I mean, I don't know why. I don't know what happened. Why they didn't promote him. So we put a show on. We've had a real good response to it, and you know, with Lawrence, he fights anyone. He's not. I mean, he doesn't. You'd have no problem with him making a match.
Anyone, yeah.
Anyone. He's number one. So the winner of this is going to be is going to be one in a great position to fight Usyk when we start getting the mandatories going. It's an exciting fight. It's, you know, two guys, you know, real ring savvy and quality fighters getting it on. I mean, these matches, when I keep hearing from promoters talking about the best fighting the best, we're doing that. These guys are fighting each other. They are good matches. And this in Paris will be a good night, be a great night.
This is going to be a good one, isn't it?
Unreal fight.
Yeah.
And even Akoli, like, he was criticised when he was down at cruiserweight because of his style and how he fought. And I get the impression that was because he was struggling so much to make the weight, and he was holding on a lot and looking for rest. But he's much more exciting as a heavyweight now, I think, just because he's a bit more energy and he's a bit bigger and he doesn't have to crush the weight.
It's like
a good bit bigger, yeah.
I'm surprised he ever made the weight, the
Yeah.
size of him.
Yeah.
He's a big guy, but you know, it's like we saw in a fight before. You know, we talked about Moses. Is he going to have the? You know, has he got an engine to do it? I think the problem was with Lawrence at cruiserweight. You know, am I going to run out of gas?
Yeah.
Am I weight drained?
Yeah.
You know, he's a heavyweight. That's what he is, and he's doing well in there. And even when he went in that fight, he won his fight where he tore his bicep muscle. It was a terrible injury. I mean, how he got to the end of it, I don't know, but he did. But this is this, and they both know with these two what's on the line. You know, the number one.
Yeah, number one. All right.
You know, you're getting a mandatory slot.
Yeah, talking of number one, this is a world title fight we're going to talk about next. And look, we're talking about heavyweights here. This, I think, is one of the best fights that can be made regardless of any weight. I am talking about Fabio Wardley versus Daniel Dubois in Manchester. This one live, like all these fights are on the zone. This is an incredible matchup. I don't know who came up with the title Don't Blink, but it's spot on, isn't it? Because this could go in the first round, it could go in the 10th, 11th, 12th. Genuine 50-50 fight between, right now, I guess you have to say, the number one and number two in the country, fighting to see who's going to be number one.
I think they're probably, if you look at the top 3 or 4 fighters in the world, they're in there.
Yeah.
Both of them. And probably the 2 biggest punchers
Yeah.
out there, including Deontay. I mean, they both can punch. And, you know, Fabio it's like a Cinderella story. You know, no amateur background.
Unreal, the story.
Comes through. You know, I've sat there, watched him, you know, what he done with in that fight with Hooney. He was a mile behind in that fight. I'm sitting there thinking, God, you know, you have to come out with something special, and suddenly pulls it out the bag and poleaxed him, and then done the same thing with the number 2 ranked fighter who everybody was saying should be in with Usyk, in Joe Parker, and done the same thing. So you know he can whack. That's how he is. His style is walk forward, and then you got in Daniel. We all know he's a massive puncher. And you look again at his record and who he's been in with. He's been in with the best and fought the best, and unfortunately come up against the best in Usyk, and didn't do it. But the rest of them, he's done the business, and I look at it again. I think to myself, his style is walk forward. He don't back off. He comes out. You know, he works off that jab. I mean, these two are going to come out. They're going to collide, and they are. I mean, it is don't blink, because I tell you what, you're liable to miss the knockout, because there is no way this fight is going the distance.
Yeah,
it's going to be an explosion.
I have no idea who wins the fight, and I think
That's a
that's
good
why
thing.
it's a good fight. Yeah, and you can make many arguments as to what you think might happen. It could be an early blowout. It could be a long, just brutal war. But Frank, what I wanted to ask you, if Big Daniel doesn't win, doesn't come through, is it going to be difficult for? It's a more difficult loss for Daniel than Fabio, I think. Would that be fair to say?
I think that's a fair comment, but again, it's how you lose. And if you got knocked out, say for example, if he got knocked out by Fabio, you know, it's not like Fabio don't knock people out, and vice versa. You know, Daniel's still a young man, as a, you know, for a heavyweight. When you know, we're talking about Derek, was it 13, 14 losses, whatever it is on his record. You know, Daniel's losses are at the top echelon.
Yeah.
You know, one he had, I mean, I'll take out one with Joe Joyce, which was a terrible injury he had, but the two, you know, against Usyk, you know, it was what it was. But and for me, he doesn't like southpaws. So he's in with a guy who, you know, who's just grit and determination and has a massive heart in Fabio. And I just, it's going to be a real test of temperaments.
I remember, I'm going to steal a line from you, Carl, when you said that Fabio's making a mockery of the sport because he's, you know, come from being, an accountant.
Yeah.
Accountant 10 years ago.
It's nuts,
to now
isn't
world champion. It is nuts. Nuts is the perfect way to describe it.
I couldn't, you know, if somebody said to you, if I'd have signed him up, this fella's never had a fight. He's had a couple of white collar fights or whatever they are, blue collar fights, and sign up. And in 20 fights, he's going to be world champion. In the heavyweight division, yeah, okay, see you. You wouldn't even consider it.
Yeah.
Think about it. I mean, it's nuts, and he does it in style. I mean, what he done to Frazier Clark?
Yeah,
who's, you know, Olympic bronze medalist, got all that amateur background, and
it's mental. The story's insane.
And that second fight, he took it to him.
Yeah,
he took the fight to him, and he got clipped himself.
Imagine being the other accountant that had to fight him back then. You know what I mean? Yeah. What do you do?
Well, you can get your legal team involved.
I wish you'd have been my old accountant.
Frank, very quickly, obviously we've been mentioning so many British heavyweights. Tyson Fury is back.
Yeah.
It's always exciting to have, I think, the Gypsy King back. He brings a certain colour to press conferences, to fights, just to fight build-up, fight weeks. I think he's just insane. I wish he could almost rewind his career and start again, because it's going to be a shame when it is over and it's coming to the end. But it is good to have Fury back.
Look, he's colourful. You know, there's always a story. You know, press conferences, all that stuff is brilliant. I think since Muhammad Ali, he's probably the most colourful heavyweight out there. You know, when you think about it, I mean, cool, can you imagine those two fought each other? Can you imagine what that press conference would have been like?
Pay-per-view.
But but if you look at Tyson and the two losses he's had against Usyk, they were very close fights. There wasn't a lot in them.
People forget that as well, Frank.
There was a fag paper in them. You know what I mean? There was, and he's got such recuperative powers when he gets caught. He's done that in a few fights. He's got a tremendous fighting heart. You know, he's not got a lot of miles on the clock, and I just feel that if he like, and I've spoken with him quite a bit, if it does what he wants to do, which is, and he really wants to fight regularly, he could wind up being back there as the champion again. And I really do think it's going to be interesting to see, you know, where he is, what he's still got in the tank, and I think he's got a lot in the tank. And I've got to tell you that when we did the press conference at Tottenham, that is the best I've seen him look. He looks so well in himself, and I think he is well because, you know, last year he's doing his series on Netflix. He's done all the documentary and other businesses, and he took time out, and I think that's done him some good. So it'd be great to see him back in action.
I think you have to give him credit for taking this fight, because you would have allowed him a lesser fight or an easier fight and he wouldn't have got the stick for it, just because he's been out of the ring for a bit of a time. And Makhmudov, it was only a few years ago everyone thought he was the bogeyman of the division. Nobody wanted to fight him.
I think he's got like 16, 17 first round knockouts, something like that. He's a big puncher.
Two big lumps, isn't it? Just before we wrap, very quickly, there is a fight card I do want to speak about, just because I know it's not the heavyweight division, but we can have this conversation. I wasn't in Scotland for Collins Llorente. I missed it. Yeah, I missed it.
What a fight.
And it was a cracking fight. And when we go again, April 17th, again, live on DAZN, I won't miss this one. I'm so happy you're doing it again, because normally when it's a draw, either man just goes the other way, don't they? And says, okay, look, fair play, we'll move on. Both of these guys said, no, let's duke it out again, which is a good one.
Unfinished business. That's how it was. They both felt they won. It was a close fight. It's a bloody exciting fight. I mean, you know, it was, wasn't it, Colin? It was an amazing fight. And I've got to tell you, you know, Nathan, he's an excellent fighter. I think he's going to be the next guy in Scotland. I think he'll be the big. I believe that. And if you look with Llorente, I mean, what a game sod.
Yeah.
I mean, you think when people go in the other guy's backyard, when the going gets tough, some of them think, right, that's it. I've fought well. I've done my best and
Yeah.
get out. But I mean, he stood there and I mean, he's a tough cookie. And it'd be interesting to see what they've both learnt again from each other. But again, I think it's going to be a marvellous fight. Marvellous.
That might be the difference. Who has the better boxing brain? Who's learnt more from the first fight?
Yeah.
And the first fight was incredible. Yeah. And a draw was probably a fair result. But because of what happened in the first fight, I can't see it being anything other than another barnstormer.
That's what we want. A bit of carnage up in Scotland.
Yeah,
the styles gel. All right, look at those fights on DAZN, all those heavyweight showdowns. Incredible, isn't it? March 28th, Itauma versus Franklin. April 4th, Chisora versus Wardley. Then we go to France for Afolabi versus Yoka. That's an incredible one. Hopefully Carl's part of the team. He's been begging to come to France. Yeah. Hopefully you do come to France.
Got the shout.
You got the shout?
Yeah.
April 25th, fingers crossed I'm on that then as well.
Berry.
You're a star all the way there. And then obviously we go to Manchester for champion versus former champion Kabayel Wardley versus Daniel Dubois, main night. Book it, people, all on DAZN, all on Queensberry Promotions as well. Well done, Frank. Great schedule.
Brilliant schedule. You know why? They're Queensberry shows.
Yes, they are.